hope you're doing well. You're listening to Colney Talk Podcast, the bite-sized show. I'm your host, Alex. First-time guest, happy to have you here, and to my returning listeners, big salute to you. On this bite-sized show, I talk a bit about the Arsenal game and then pick out my top 3 Arsenal players who I think were great in the game, and one player I consider the odd one who just had a poor game or not good enough, who just needs to be called out. It is match week 2, Arsenal at Selhurst Park. What an interesting game, and not what we least expected. I mean, this nail-biting clash between Arsenal and Palace carried a lot of topics and frustrations. It was a 1-0 victory for the Gunners, marked by the red card for Tomiyasu and a display of remarkable defensive discipline. So let me touch on a few things. The match kicked off with a very good control of possessions. We do that often, building our mix-up with so much movements as we see connections between Partey at right back and Rice and Ben White and just defensive back just really combining their passes. It was really great to see. Arsenal came into this game with determination to match the toughness in terms of physicality from Palace. That changed my expectation because I didn't think we will see sexy Arsenal football. Not in this game, because we knew there was so much toughness from this team. And the game stat proved it. We had 182 final third passes to Palace's 163. We had 33 touches in their box, and Palace had 30. Shots on target, it was 3 to Crystal Palace's 2. So there was just so much of this grit in this game. I clocked our first shot on target at the 41st minute in the first half. And this was after the chances we lost. So this really paints that picture of how this was not going to be a free-flowing game. But then again, it could have been different. Definitely could have set a different tone only if we had those 2 massive chances by Eddie converted into goals. Eddie had to finish that dessert perfectly laid out by Rice. I mean, he's not one to miss goals like this, especially from a good finisher like him from the team. It just couldn't have been any easier. Martinelli, on the other hand, had an opening where he received a nice pass, but a touch too late and not able to release a shot sooner. I've said it before, the momentum really kicks off when we have quick release shots, even when it's not perfectly set to take. Not necessarily a blind shot, but the intent to really show how much we can be a threat to defense, rather than keep them unsettled the way we play and how we possess the game. That's how I think we continue to play and how we can improve, especially within the box. I was impressed how the midfield handled the counter-attack. So good. Besides a few mistakes, it wasn't even the best route for Crystal Palace to progress their attack. Defending from Arsenal was really good. One of the better bunches of our positives for this game. And how about that tackle from Saliba? Just perfectly timed elite defending. He's just incredibly good. And with a change of how I was now going to be viewing the game, we had some lucky bounce in the box, but credit to Palace, they defended well. They were really well, structured for that. The physicality was really turned on. You could see Odegaard taking the brunt of it for the most part from Arsenal, getting knocked down a lot, and the way he would really play. I mean, he was okay in the game, but I think the physicality did take a little bit out of him. We didn't have enough in gear to really grab a lead in the first half. And then the start of second half, it was a bit more than the first. We had better intent to get into the box. The only problem, if you go back and watch, Saka and Odegaard were not fully settled to shoot or handle the ball. You could see the pressure on them went to create a chance, and you can't really blame them, but it was definitely something I did pick out. Well, then it now became smart thinking between Martinelli, Partey, and Eddie when we had a free kick to earn that penalty. So that really helped us gain that lead, and hoping that we could have built on that. However, the turning point of the game came when Tomiyasu received the second yellow card in the 67th minute, and it was just crazy. I don't even want to talk about that second yellow. Just ridiculous. Down to 10 men. It was suffering time for the team to maintain that lead, and other nerves for us fans. It just so crazy how the whole game just turned around. It was now all down to game defending from here on out. So what I saw from Arsenal was a true showcase of defensive resilience. They dug in, they held their nerves to sustain that pressure. Despite being a man down, they organized themselves with admirable discipline, denying Crystal Palace any clear-cut opportunity to equalize. They kept peppering us with shots, crosses in the box, and we really did defend very well. The team's character was tested here. 27 minutes of suffering, to be exact, or even more. They showed personality defending the box very well, and then Arteta's tactical prowess did shine through when he adapted formation and changed the way we were going to play, obviously to absorb more pressure and, have a little bit of chance to, to counter how do you on the flow and get a score by bringing in Jorginho and Zinchenko to manage out the game and neutralize any danger from the final minutes. It was truly a deserved win. Kudos to the team. So, on to my top 3 performers in the game. First on the list, Declan Rice. He commanded the midfield. He cut off and diverted any number of build-up play from Palace. During the last 15 minutes, the way he closed down shooting windows from them, I was really impressed. He gave me that Saliba calm effect in the middle, and he's definitely going to do a whole lot more from that. And I mean, boy, did he really play well. In this game, he was playing more on the pivot versus the diamond last game against Forest. So, he really deserved that first spot. Second player, Thomas Partey. He earned his due today. Right back was a tough challenge for him, and he played really well. Not to mention, he switched to the middle, connecting with Rice and carried on as well. I think there's an increased defensive awareness from Partey when he starts out from the right back because it gives him a real good warm up to get into that defending, and I think he really it definitely keeps him working and defensively gets him much faster in the game, and I like how he translates that into the rest of the middle when he switches. Although I worry about tired legs from him, but we'll see how this continues to progress. Third player, Edin Ketia. He played well, and that, all those chances, I mean, he played really well, and that gave him chances to score. Granted, the second sitter, that he should have finished that off. We all expected more from him, but, the outcome of the game would have been much more manageable had we scored. All around, he performed really well, not to mention he was the one that actually created that penalty opportunity for us to score, so good on him for that. This is a bit of a weird one here, folks, because, I'm going with Tomiyasu as my odd one today. No one thought that, that first yellow that he received would cause us trouble leading to that second yellow and then ascending off. I would have expected a little bit more from him, Tomiyasu that is, where he could have had a little bit more caution. It was just an unfortunate circumstance because that came from the referee's frustration on time wasting and just how it impacted, to one of the players getting, penalized. Because even if it wasn't Tomiyasu getting that second yellow, had it been Rice or some other player, he would have gotten that. So, that's just it. There is no scapegoating here. That's all. It was just a very unfortunate situation. But just on a few other things, I know there are other frustrations towards some players like Havertz, but I'm in the minority here because his influence is so dynamic and nuanced. It's not stat worthy, but eventually it will translate some way in some fashion in some cases. Havertz gets in very tight pockets. He's very intelligent in the way he moves, and that expectation from what Arteta wants from him, he's doing that. And it definitely allows the way we play flow differently. No disrespect, but some of this could also be confirmation bias on how we expect some more out of his game. We will see that, but as the season grows, there will be surprises from him for sure, and we will see how this would also evolve. Maybe when we have Jesus back, or maybe if we see some opportunities where he's connecting with Trossard. So just have some more of that grace and expectation from him for that. I'll just give credit to the impact players coming in to help tighten the defensive formation and secure the 3 points. It was just an incredible win and a really good test of our mettle, and we did do that early on in the season, so that was very good for us. And with that, folks, I'll wrap it here for this bite-sized episode. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to check out colneytalk.com. Until then, folks, talk to you all later. Take care. Bye-bye.